Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into one seriously intense week, June 28th to July 4th, 2026. Honestly, this was a period that permanently, and I mean permanently, blurred the lines between our physical and digital worlds. This wasn't just your regular run-of-the-mill news cycle. We're talking about a massive historical turning point. It felt like the future of art, ownership, cybersecurity, and global infrastructure all crashed into the present at the exact same moment. The boundaries between human and machine, physical and digital, real and virtual are blurring. So to make sense of all these massive shifts, we're going to break this week down into 5 main pillars: art in the machine age, the end of physical, the new security arms race, rebuilding the infrastructure, and finally, shaping our digital future. Let's get right into it.
Pillar 1, art in the machine age and the blurring lines of creativity. Think about what makes an artist, right? On one hand, humans bring authenticity, raw emotion, and that spark of unpredictability. But on the flip side, digital artists, they offer perfect consistency, infinite scalability, and the crazy ability to perform 1,000 concerts at once. We're seeing this exact collision right now with the new Emerge Mode Miku EP. The real-world authenticity of Canadian producer Grimes is actively merging with the total digital scalability of virtual idol Hatsune Miku. It completely proves that hybrid human-AI collaboration isn't just some internet subculture anymore, it is the new mainstream blueprint for the music industry.
Meanwhile, the fight over who actually owns and controls this technology has hit an absolute boiling point. You've got Hollywood heavyweights, Disney, Warner Bros., Universal, throwing major lawsuits at Midjourney for unauthorized AI training. But in a seriously brilliant defense move, Midjourney turned the tables. They're demanding those exact same studios disclose their own extensive use of internal AI tools for things like backgrounds and storyboarding. It's a high-stakes game of legal chess over fair use and industry hypocrisy, and it perfectly highlights the massive friction between traditional creators and AI developers.
And of course, this tension spilled right over into mainstream culture. Google dropped a July 4th ad showing the founding fathers using their Gemini AI to help draft the Declaration of Independence. Well, it sparked absolute outrage online, forcing all of us to ask a really uncomfortable question. Can AI write history?
The public reaction was fierce, to put it mildly. One cultural critic really hit the nail on the head, saying, "Imagining the Declaration of Independence written with Gemini's help is like saying the Mona Lisa should have been painted with Photoshop." Google tried to play it off, claiming they were just showcasing, efficient collaboration, but critics felt it totally cheapened a profound human achievement. It's a perfect example of the tightrope tech companies are walking right now, trying to market AI without stepping all over human agency.
All right, moving on to Pillar 2, the end of physical, focusing on Sony's digital leap. Because if AI is changing how we create, it's definitely changing what we own. The data behind Sony's recent shock announcement is undeniable. By 2025, physical PlayStation game purchases had completely plummeted to a mere 17%, leaving digital with a massive 83% slice of the pie. Compare that to just 5 years earlier in 2020, when physical sales were still sitting at 45%. The consumer shift is completely night and day. Driven by that massive shift, the timeline is now set in stone. January 2028. That's when Sony permanently ends the production of all physical PlayStation game discs. Between soaring logistical costs and gamers just preferring downloads, this deadline forces a major trade-off. We are officially trading true physical ownership and long-term game preservation for digital convenience, giving Sony total control over their platform. It literally is the end of an era that began way back in 1995.
Which brings us to Pillar 3, the new security arms race, AI agents versus human hackers.
Going fully digital in an AI-driven world has a pretty terrifying dark side. Meet Jade Puffer. It sounds kind of cute, but it's the first fully automated ransomware executed entirely by a large language model agent. The timeline here is wild. Day 0, a phishing email drops. By 2:31 a.m., the LLM agent wakes up and scans the network completely on its own. By noon on day 1, it has exfiltrated 15 gigs of data. But here's the scariest part. On day 2, it automatically analyzes the victim's finances and negotiates a ransom down to $280,000. It did the whole shebang without a single human hacker lifting a finger.
That level of autonomy is chilling. But hey, humans aren't out of the fight just yet. $70 billion
That is the staggering mountain of crypto assets that was narrowly saved on the Aptos blockchain this very same week.
Get this. A $300 attack was stopped dead in its tracks by a $250,000 bug bounty. A small crew of ethical hackers running a simple $3,000 server found a critical consensus flaw. If exploited, it would have cost an attacker less than $500 to execute with a 90% success rate. It's wild, but it proves that even with AI advancing so fast, active human security research and relentless testing are literally the only things keeping our global digital assets secure.
Okay, Pillar 4, rebuilding the infrastructure, upgrading systems on Earth and in orbit. To survive all these shifts, we're having to rebuild our foundational tech, and I mean that literally all the way up to the stars. NASA just contracted Catalyst Space Technologies for an emergency rescue of the 22-year-old Swift Observatory to stop it from burning up due to solar storms. Their Link spacecraft automatically matched orbital velocity, deployed grappling arms, and fired thrusters to boost the telescope's altitude by 150 miles. It's a massive game-changing shift from treating multi-million-dollar satellites as disposable junk to a new reality of active in-orbit servicing.
Meanwhile, back down on Earth, financial infrastructure is going through its own earthquake. The Moonbeam network made huge waves by announcing it's ditching the Polkadot ecosystem to migrate over to Base. And when you look at the raw numbers, it totally makes sense. Base has $8.7 billion in total value locked compared to Polkadot's $4.2 billion, and daily transactions jump from 800,000 to over 3.2 million. They are simply chasing the massive liquidity, faster transaction speeds, and millions of active users.
But here's the kicker. Moonbeam's migration isn't just about speed. They are actively pivoting to build out the AI agent framework. They are designing specialized blockchain infrastructure so autonomous AI agents can jump in, manage smart contracts, and execute complex decentralized finance trades entirely on their own behalf.
Which brings us to our fifth and final pillar, shaping our digital future and what actually awaits us.
Let's connect the dots here. All these unprecedented events from just one single week point us toward a pretty undeniable conclusion. From Hatsune Miku and Grimes making music together, to Sony killing off physical game discs, from Jade Puffer's fully automated digital extortion to NASA rescuing satellites in orbit and blockchains preparing for AI traders, the integration of AI and digital sovereignty is accelerating everywhere, all at once. The physical world is giving way to the digital, and manual human effort is rapidly giving way to autonomous machines.
So we're left with one really big, critical thought. The future isn't predetermined, The choices we're making right now, how we regulate these algorithms, how we secure our digital vaults, and how we choose to value human creativity against cold machine efficiency, these choices are going to permanently lock in the world we live in tomorrow. Will we create frameworks that actively preserve human dignity and agency, or will we just kind of sleepwalk into a future where all the critical decisions are made by machines? It is the ultimate question of our time, and we need to figure out the answer pretty quickly. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep your eyes on the digital frontier.